So, in the morning session, you talked about mentors. Is it really that easy to find a mentor when you're a young person? That is the right question. So, let me take that apart from two different vantage points. Firstly, let's talk about who my mentors were in my 20s, and then let's kind of recalibrate and talk about the people that I mentor now. And then we'll at least get sort of a sense of characteristics of who these people are and some insights into how you might approach this question. So, firstly, when I was in my 20s, I don't recall a single moment that I thought to myself, I need to go find a mentor. Nobody told that to me. But here's what I did. I was really diligent about my craft. Whatever it was that I was doing in business, man, I just had a good work ethic. I mean, my father was one of these people that we hear about from the Rust Belt. Sometimes they're talked about as the forgotten man. And so he was up near the Great Lakes region, and he was a metal worker. And so thinking back on those years, I didn't really have somebody who was prompting me towards the need for mentorship, because my path and the path of my brothers was industrial, and it was in the trades and as a skilled worker, because that was the path that my father took and his father before him and his father before him. When I began to get opportunities in my late teens and in my early 20s, what my father had deposited inside of me was this model for life, which is he was up at 4, he was out of the house by 5, and we were all expected to be at the dinner table 5 p.m. He never talked to me about hard work. He just modeled it. And by the way, for all of my friends who are parents in the room, that's just really good advice. Model for your kids the behavior that you want them to live. Figure out what the best of you is and who you've become, and then live that out in front of them. Don't do a lot of teaching, and we'll talk later on about over-parenting. So what my dad modeled for me was just good hard work. And so when I had my first business opportunity, then my second, and then my third, all that I knew was adding value, was being great in whatever that role was, and giving it 120%. And really what happened for me is that work ethic attracted the people that I needed to be attracted to me. I would have never known to approach them, and in some ways our life merged surrounding the work that we were doing together. They were always older, smarter, bigger men than I was. And all of those guys, all of those older, smarter guys have this eye towards young people that are just like they used to be. And that's that homing signal that goes out from you. And so they're looking for that. And if you'll position yourself to be that person, you will become attractive to the very persons that you want to be attractive to. Okay? And so do exceptional work. I know that sounds easy, and it's not a bulletproof principle, but if you'll do exceptional work, the chances that you will end up in the proximity of the people that you want to be in the proximity of just escalates by hundreds of points. So, as these relationships grew, I would lean into the relationships. Anytime there was a spare lunch hour, I would buy lunch. Anytime there was a moment that we could not talk business and I could learn from this person as to who they are as a father and as a husband and as somebody in the community, I was always looking for the multiple dimensions of who these people were, because I knew that could make me the best possible person I could be in the decade ahead. So be exceptional where you are. Be exceptional where you are. Send out that pulse of creativity from who you are, and trust that beacon will attract others to you. Now if we fast forward to current day, Yeah, I mean, I've got my consulting practice, but I've always had a relationship with young men. Typically 24 to 48 years old. I don't know if that's young to you, but it is to me. And I suppose I just noticed that, you know how life is when you have these exceptional things that happen in your life, but you don't work for them? They just come very naturally to you. That's me working with men, okay? That's just the nature of my consulting practice and the nature of this mentorship that we're talking about. And I've never gone to a single man or woman and suggested any sort of a mentoring relationship. But these guys who I spend time with over coffee or over breakfast, they just want to ping me. Gosh, they're curious. That's a big one. Develop a lifestyle of curiosity. And they lean forward into life. So they're people that you want to be around because there's momentum and forward motion. And in all of that context, what it offers me as a mentor, as a coach, is a canvas to paint on that's already in motion, that's already being painted on. And all I'm doing is dribbling some paint on that canvas and trying to stay within the lines of what they're already contextualizing as their life. And so it's easy to add value to that because value was there before I arrived. Does that make sense? So live in that curious space. Live in a framework in which it's more important to you to move forward than it is for you to find a mentor. And there's just something about you being in that frame that is going to exponentially increase the likelihood that you start to build these types of relationships. Here's the last thing that I'll say. Wealthy people get pinged all the time. Okay? You want to be 1 out of 100 in a wealthy person's life? Then listen to this very subtle adjustment that I'm saying is critical. Listen, you buy the coffee. You buy the lunch. If you'll do that to somebody that you really know that you need to get time with, who could revolutionize you as a human being, then before you walk into that meeting, prepare yourself internally, set your watch, put a reminder in your phone. You step forward. Because you will be 1 out of 100 and you'll be memorable. And listen, when they say, hey, I'll take care of the tip, make sure you say, no, take care of the tip too. Okay? Be extraordinary. Do the little 5 percentile things that nobody else does. And I promise you that'll make all the difference. That's a good question.